Okay. It's probably enough time. Yeah, 9 to 5. All right, everybody. Welcome. I'm Elijah. I'm going to be talking tonight about kind of some ways you can go about brainstorming your personal statement, your activities. We have I think it's about 5 more sessions this week for med school week, and a couple more sessions that are going to be focused on personal statement. So, oh yeah, and I'm going to move on to kind of the rest of the schedule. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so perfect. So hello everyone again. I'm Elijah. I'm coming to you today from LA. I go to school at UCLA. I'll do a little bit more in the way of introduction here, and then we'll kind of jump into things. But just starting out, we have the med school schedule here, the med school week schedule. Got a lot more sessions that are focused on a lot of different things, obviously. Tonight we'll talk about personal statement. We'll talk about activities. And then, as you can kind of see, Thursday, we have also, we have a number of other sessions that are focused on personal statement, application tips, interviews, those type of things. And then on Thursday, at the very end, there's kind of an office hours, Q&A for things that haven't been resolved over the last couple of sessions that will take place throughout this week. So glad to have everyone here. Hopefully this is an informational session for you, that it's informative, it's helpful. And if it's not, we're gonna have a little bit of time for some question and answer at the end. And again, as things go, I think we're gonna kind of save the question and answer component for the end. But you can just drop things in the chat as we go. I think we have a pretty good team of people who can, if they feel like they have a good understanding of kind of more the administrative components, they can help you sort of in the chat. Otherwise, we'll sort of loop back around and take those questions, because again, we've been doing Zoom things for quite some time. We know that it's sometimes turning on the camera and actually asking the question is, uncomfortable or whatever it might be. So we hope to get that. So again, welcome introductions. Then we'll touch on what's hopefully helpful. We'll do a Q&A and then a little final word, and just let things wrap up as they do. I'm Elijah. That's me with the longer hair. That's the benefit of once you get into medical school, you can kind of let yourself go a little bit, at least for a little while. I just went through interviews for residency. I actually match on Friday. So we'll kind of see how things turn out. It feels like I'm kind of, almost at the same place as a lot of you all, where you're getting your applications together, you're starting to brainstorm, you're looking forward to interviews. I just kind of came through the second round of that. I'm currently a 4th year at UCLA. I've been on the admissions committee at UCLA for the last 4 years, so hopefully can bring a little bit of insight to the table. And hopefully, if we choose to work together in the future, we'll get a chance to talk about some of those things that admissions committees are looking at, which is, I'm assuming, why all of you are here. I'm going to be going into psychiatry, ultimately, is the specialty I've chosen. And then, like I said, I match on Friday. So I got the email yesterday that I have matched, and then I find out on Friday where I'm going. I did my undergraduate at Brigham Young University, and then I spent time kind of since then up till now in terms of research experience, which is a pretty big component of the med school application and the med school experience. So I've done research projects kind of all across the board in different areas, internal medicine, surgery, psychiatry, at Stanford Medicine, UCLA, and then also Harvard Medical School. So I feel like I have like a pretty good and at least kind of broad exposure across the board. And there's a little blurb about me at the bottom here. I feel like, if we choose to work together, I think generally people have a good experience. And if you don't, I mean, hey, that's, we have a lot of amazing coaches on the site. Hopefully you're going to get to go to other sessions and meet with other people. So, a lot of this process is about finding the right fit, whether that's with your coach or with that's, kind of your approach to things. So, like I said, Elijah, let's go ahead and get started talking about things. So, I imagine all of you, some of you might be coming back on kind of, this is a second or a third round applying, and are looking for maybe some approaching things a different way than you have in the past. For others of you, this is an opportunity to really kind of get a good understanding, at least a better understanding of how to approach this process, which is really nebulous. There is an absolute multitude of resources online. And I think honestly, at this stage in the game, at least when I think back to where I was, it was almost like trying to find the right thing. There's so much information; it's really hard to understand what's ultimately the right thing, and picking out the right voice from this really loud group of people. We as pre-meds and medical students and whatever else might be, we find ourselves searching out mentorship, right? So, in terms of how to approach getting started, right? I think some of this might seem fairly obvious, but I think it's worth reiterating. Your application is kind of a conglomerate of many things, right? That ultimately creates this picture of you. And it's trying to understand how can you make the best use of each individual thing, but making sure that at the same time, as you take, a finely crafted personal statement, a finely crafted activity section, a finely crafted group of letters of recommendation, a very well done interview, and as you can put all those together, you leave an admissions committee saying, wow, okay, we know this person well, as much as we can, and we like this person, right? We want them to be, to be on board with us at our medical school and to really be a part of the fabric. You'll see that as you go on, and as all of you are interviewing at different places, you're going to ultimately see that different schools have different cultures, right? And so, as you're putting your school list together, that can actually help you as you start to understand your theme, as you start to understand really kind of how you want to present yourself. And so ultimately, like, you can kind of you go from you go back in your life throughout this whole process, and you think about you, and you kind of try and pick out points A, B, and C that ultimately have led you to kind of this sort of unfinished piece of artwork that you are now, that ultimately is going to really shine. And again, we hear that a lot, but I really feel like everyone who's applying to medical school has worked hard and is an interesting person, and it's just about really drawing those things out, right? And I really, I don't say that in a cliche way. I'm always impressed with the people that I work with. And I guess retroactively, sometimes I look back, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm interesting. I didn't really think it at the time, and you don't really feel it at this point in time when you're applying, but that's really what all of this is about, is drawing that out. So how to approach getting started, I think it's really important to have that big picture in mind at the start, okay?